Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Thursday night, and it's time to talk about movies. Welcome to POVincent here on the River's Edge Network. How we all doing tonight, everybody? Eric, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, man. I continue to survive in this crazy world we all live in.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is your first time. This is the POVincent podcast where we do movie news and movie reviews. And usually we like to kick things off with a lot of energy, a bit of a bang. But tonight we got to talk about something that happened in Pittsburgh that I feel like would be extremely disrespectful not to talk about it. And that is this past weekend, an act of evil was committed in the Squirrel Hill neighborhood of Pittsburgh when a man walked into the Tree of Life synagogue and opened fire on the people there, killing 11 people, wounding several more, including wounding several police officers who responded to the scene. You've undoubtedly already heard about it. It's made national news, and it was a horrible event. I was at my job at the time when it happened. I saw the report pop up on my phone on my Facebook, and then I headed to the nearest TV we had there on site, and I just I saw the news report, and it was a hell of a day. A lot of pain. And it's because this isn't the first time we've had a tragedy like this in America, and that's not even in the past. It just happens too often, and it's always horrible to see these things happen, to see people murdered and mowed down for just incomprehensible reasons, and it just hits harder when it's in your hometown. I've lived in Pittsburgh my whole life. Just to see something like that happen here, like I said, it always hits you when you see this stuff happening, whether it's a church or a school or wherever it may happen to be. But it hits a little harder, when it's in your hometown. The Tree of Life synagogue. I am not Jewish, but I know exactly where it is. I've driven through Squirrel Hill plenty of times. I've driven past that synagogue I don't know how many times in my life. Going through Squirrel Hill, it's just horrible thing to unfold, because at first they were like, oh no, 8 people have died, and then later it unfortunately grew to 11 as some of the people who made it to the hospital did not last very long. And it it was just a horrible week in America. It was just, we had those pipe bombs mailed out to various Democrats. There was the other shooting at the Kroger grocery store, which I humbly apologize if I forget where, but I believe it was in Kentucky. Was it in Kentucky? I'm sorry, I apologize.
I think it was in Ohio.
Ohio? Okay. Well, it was where 2 African Americans were gunned down by a man just who out of nowhere. I heard he tried to attack a church first, but could not get in, and he just went to the grocery store, and then the whole what happened here. So. My deepest, heartfelt sympathies to everyone who was affected by this. I actually did meet somebody who knew somebody who died during that tragedy. The world is a tough place. And this is just going to be an event that we're going to be talking about for a long time, many, many, many years to come, I believe. But I believe in the wake of this event, it helped to see the community here come together. A community Islamic group raised tens of thousands of dollars for the victims, so they didn't have to worry about any medical bills or any funeral fees, nothing like that. And it didn't erase the pain, but it felt good to see 2 religious groups that many people say, oh, they're supposed to be at each other, but no, they came together in their common humanity and supported each other, and it was very great to see that. And once again, I know this show is not, we usually just talk about movies here, but once again, I felt like we would have done the people the victims and their families a disservice if we did not acknowledge this on the show, as Pittsburgh is where we live. So to everybody out there, whether you were directly affected by this horrible thing or not, come together, please. If you want to pray, go ahead. If you want to make donations, there's multiple GoFundMes and charitable organizations that are collecting money to, help everyone out. So, Pittsburgh strong, everybody. Pittsburgh strong. And with that said, we're gonna ease into our movie news section. We're gonna take it nice and easy here. So we're going to start with I'm not really good with transition like that, but I'm going to do the best I can here. We're going to start with a article on HollywoodReporter.com. Eddie Redmayne, who a lot of people will know for the theory of everything and for being the main character in the Fantastic Beast franchise, is in talks to star in Aaron Sorkin's Trial of the Chicago 7. The Oscar-winning British star is headed to a possible collaboration with Sorkin after the latter made his directorial debut with Molly's Game, which is a movie I saw last year and I enjoyed it. Eddie Redmayne is in early talks to star in the Trial of Chicago 7 by writer and director Aaron Sorkin. The film is based on the infamous 1969 trial of 7 defendants charged by the federal government with conspiracy and more arising from the counterculture protest in Chicago at the 1968 Democratic National Convention. Eddie Redmayne is in line to play Tom Hayden, the co-founder of the Students for a Democratic Society. The project for Amblin Entertainment would see Sorkin write the screenplay and direct, with Mark Platt to produce. So for one, this article tells us that Spielberg was originally supposed to direct this film back in 2008, but the project got put on hold and all that stuff. And now Sorkin is going to be in charge of this project, which I have faith, because like I said, I saw Molly's Game, movie starring Jessica Chastain and Idris Elba, based on a real-life story of a woman who was trying to become an Olympian, and, things didn't turn out to an unfortunate accident, and she got caught up in the secret Hollywood poker game, which a lot of people had heard about before. Tobey Maguire was famously part of the secret Hollywood elite who were playing these poker games for like hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars. And the story is about the woman who basically became the queen of this underground world, and she became a millionaire because of it, but she took a few steps too far and it became illegal and all that stuff. And it's a very enjoyable movie because it looks like your stereotypical movie that where it's like, oh, somebody who's like down on their luck, and they wish their life was better, they wish they had more money or whatever, and they finally get it, but then they go too far, they get too greedy, and they get too entranced by the money, and then they trust that one wrong person and everything collapses, and some of it is that way, but the motivation for the main characters, why she did everything, that made the movie stand out. And of course, Jessica Chastain, being a great performer that she is, I really enjoyed her performance. And of course, as we've said many times on the show before, Idris Elba was in the movie, and he's awesome. So that also helped the movie out a lot. And it was just an enjoyable film. If you haven't seen Molly's Game, it's it's out on DVD, it might be on Netflix. Go check it out. I highly recommend it. But now it's time to move on to the part of the show with our next news segment, because, well, we're nerdy, and we got to talk about the nerd stuff. Am I right, Eric?
Oh, yeah.
Let's get into this. So we announced previously on the show that Disney, with their new upcoming streaming service, is going to do a Loki TV show, or at least a miniseries, and same thing for Scarlet Witch, starring, Loki is going to be played by Tom Hiddleston, and Scarlet Witch by Elizabeth Olsen. So each going to have their own show, and now Falcon and Winter Soldier are getting their own show, which I just hope they call Super Pals. And that's what I'm hoping for here. But yes, according to an article on comicbook.com, Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan will reprise their roles as the Falcon and Winter Soldier in an upcoming miniseries for the Disney Play streaming service. Empire writer Malcolm Spellman has boarded the project, which the third Marvel Cinematic Universe series to be announced, but the first to find a writer. Ooh, there we go. And as we said, so this is definitely them trying to boost their streaming service with some, Disney, they've got Marvel. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has been a massive success, continuing on where we had Infinity War. That, we both enjoyed that film a lot. And yeah, they're definitely using their Marvel, properties to get this new streaming service off on the right start, and I don't blame them. It's just the kind of strategy you expect. For those of you who have CBS All Access, that streaming service, their launching show, the one they did to bring people to their streaming service, was Star Trek Discovery. And, I didn't finish that show because I didn't like it, but I know a lot of people who do. So anybody who's watching right now, you're like, hey, Star Trek Discovery is really good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I watched the first 3 episodes and then I was out. But anyway, Eric, what do you think about this? Are you excited for these projects?
Like, I don't know. Netflix and Marvel have seen a fair amount of success, but I feel like the more they keep doing them, the higher the odds of them doing another Iron Fist become.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Remember, now, the whole Marvel Netflix thing, we've talked about this before in the show. Netflix owns the rights to the 5 heroes at this point they've done, which is Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Punisher. Now, unfortunately, due to the fact that Disney has started their own streaming service soon, they are, they're going to kind of pull back a little bit because Netflix isn't going to give up those characters, but Disney doesn't really care what Netflix does with them anymore because they're doing their own streaming service. And Marvel Movie and Marvel TV really don't talk anymore. So, it's 2 separate studios. So, unfortunately, that's going to cause some suffering here and there. But I don't know. There's nothing we can really do at this point. All we can do is hope that the series will be good. I'm actually kind of interested because, as we see, it's mostly in Civil War, Captain America Civil War, Falcon and Bucky are pretty much fighting for Cap's affections, right? Because Bucky is, Winter Soldier is Cap's oldest friend from even back when they were kids, right? And Falcon was kind of like his new kind of friend, his confidant, the guy he relied on. If he's not doing anything Avenger related, he's got the Falcon right there, right? And, you have those moments in Civil War where they're just butting heads. Like the picture we have up on the screen right now, part of the live stream, is that scene from Civil War where they're in the back of that Volkswagen while Cap goes talk to Agent 13, played by Emily Van Camp. And, they're like, there's that one part, it's like, Bucky's like, can you pull your seat up? Falcon's just like, no. But at the same time, that follows one of the funniest scenes in the movie where Cap, makes out with Agent 13, and he looks back at the guys in the car and they just give him that nod like, yeah. I laughed my ass off when that scene happened. So I'm kind of interested, because it could be because these guys aren't they're Avengers, they fight in combat, they work well together in a combat situation, hero situation to say, but, they don't really like each other because they're both like, I'm Cap's favorite. No, I'm Cap's favorite. And then just fucking Iron Man comes in and is like, I don't know. But yeah, so this could be interesting, I'm hoping. And plus, Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, they're good actors. So I hope that, we'll see that these characters grow. Because at the end of the day, they've never had the spotlight. So it could be interesting to see where these characters can, be taken. Especially since in the comics, at, certain points in comics, Winter Soldier took over the mantle of Captain America while Cap was supposedly dead, right? And then Falcon took over the mantle in the comics when, surprise, Captain America wasn't dead. He came back to life, but then later his super soldier serum wore off or something. I forget what it was wore off or somebody extracted it from his body, something like that. And then he handed the mantle over to the Falcon, which I remember that was big news at the time. Because people were like, Captain America's a black guy now. That was basically what everyone's talking about. But it was a logical choice because in the comics, Captain America and Falcon, they've been partners, whether they're on Avengers or not or doing their own thing. They've been partners since the 70s, I want to say. So it made sense.
I think the real question here is where it takes place.
Well, the thing, since they only just grabbed a writer, I'm guessing this is very early stuff, right? Because this is just announced.
Well, so, just follow me on the last place that we've seen the Winter Soldier is
Wakanda.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm assuming where things will take them will depend highly on what happens in the next Avengers film, which people keep clamoring about. What's the title right? Because right now we're just calling it Avengers 4, but people are like, there's all these theories online because the Russo brothers, the directors, are like dropping clues and hints. They're like, is it going to be Avengers Annihilation? Avengers The Last Avenger? Avengers Fuck It, Let's Go All Out? I don't know. It could be anything, but that's where we're going here. And there's been a couple times where I've been kind of tempted to talk about that on the show a little more in length. But what are we going to do? We don't know the title. All I can say is, hope it's good. That's like...
It's still Avengers Infinity War Part 2.
Yeah.
Like, that's entirely what it is.
Yeah.
They can come up with whatever funny title they want. They can be like, oh, it's like Avengers Unlimited. It's like the Avengers Strike Again. Like, it's Revenge of the Avengers. Like, well, it doesn't matter. Like, we know that there's... If you haven't watched the Avengers Infinity Wars Part 1 by now, that's really kind of on you.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to say this. We're going to see a big mulligan in the next Avengers film. Like, that is... Yeah, they'll probably do some crazy shit for perms or whatever. But, like, there's going to be a big mulligan. That's pretty inevitable.
Yeah. They're gonna do something because they can't let things be as it is. There's no way.
They can't just leave it how it is right now. You mean they brought Spider-Man in and they're not just gonna write him off after 2-3 movies? Is that what you're telling me? I don't know what that voice is. That was a little unsettling.
It was a bit. It was like it started off fine. It's like a little muppety, and then you kept going. And then I started thinking of that berries and cream commercial. Do you remember that? Do you remember that freaky commercial? You don't remember that commercial? There was this commercial for Starburst called Starburst Berries and Cream. This guy's just eating some Starburst Berries and Cream. And this little freakish dude that looked like he just escaped a Ren Fair runs up to him. He's like, oh, excuse me, is that berries and cream? He's like, yeah. And then he does this horrid fucking dance where he just goes, berries and cream, berries and cream. I'm a little boy who likes berries and cream. And then he does it again, but even freaking, berries and cream, berries and cream. It's like, seriously, look it up. Look it up. It was like a commercial from like 10 fucking years ago. And it's, don't look it up. We got a show to do, motherfucker. No, the people. After the show, go look it up. I thought
you were giving me a direction.
No, I'm not. No, I was bored. I got to bring out my maestro stick and be like, look it up later. Wait, do I have a maestro stick? I don't know. I gotta check I'll check it later. Anyway, but yeah. So yeah, that's going on. Like I said. So yeah, we got a Loki show coming. We got Scarlet Witch show coming, and then we got a Falcon and Winter Soldier show coming. Which I wonder if they're gonna call, instead of calling him Winter Soldier, they're gonna call him White Wolf, because in Infinity War the Wakandans were calling him like the White Wolf, I believe. So which I'm down for that, because the Winter Soldier is the brainwashed version of Bucky that he committed all these horrible assassinations. So it would make sense if the character wants to drop that title and do something else.
White Wolf and Falcon is a pretty sweet title name.
It is. That's it. I don't see that motherfucker. All right. Time to move on to our next news segment.
I just keep imagining it as a buddy cop show. That's just how it is in my head, especially since you showed a clip where it looks like they're in a car, where are we going to next, Chief?
Oh man. Well, hopefully they'll both stay on for several seasons, unlike that Lethal Weapon show. That show's just losing its main characters left and right.
Is it?
Oh yeah, no. They fired the guy who played basically the Mel Gibson character because he was getting violent on set or something like that. And then they hired Sean William Scott to replace him as a new character. And Damon Wayans, who plays, Danny Glover's character, Riggs, he's leaving now too because he wants to spend more time with his family. So they lost one guy, got a new guy, and the next season they're already losing another guy. So it's going to be two new characters altogether, which is Sean William Scott as a character that was not in the fucking movies. Yeah, I don't watch the show, but I was I saw that online and I was like, man, I'm glad the show's doing well because this is a fucking kick to the nuts. But anyway, we got to move on to some other news. We got some more casting announcement, ladies and gentlemen.
We got casting announcements.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if this is gonna be good or bad. We're gonna work it out together. But Ewan McGregor is gonna play Black Mask in the Birds of Prey film. Another article from comicbook.com.
Who this guy?
Black Mask?
Yeah.
Black Mask is... I don't know a lot.
Black Mask.
I don't know a lot about the album. I know he's a Batman villain. He's basically just a top A+ level gangster type. Like he has a criminal organization, and he wears a black mask that looks like a skull. So I guess they didn't want to call him Black Skull because then they're like... Because then people would be like, is it to the Red Skull? Are they like brothers or something? Is there a pink skull, an orange skull? I don't know. How far... What's the skull spectrum? What's going on here? But anyway,
so that's why he's just Black Mask.
Yeah,
like we totally didn't. Even though, for the record, DC, if DC and Marvel have similar characters, there's like a 70% chance or greater that like the DC characters first.
Yeah.
Nerding it up. So, what are your feelings about?
Well, I mean,
Obi-Wan as the mask that is black and not like that Jet Li movie.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that. Yeah. I remember that movie. Well, it's interesting. Now, we talked about the Birds of Prey movie previously on the show, and because I'm gonna mispronounce this woman's name, so I apologize in advance. Jurnee Smollett-Bell as Black Canary and Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Huntress, and Rosie Perez as Renee Montoya. We talked about the casting announcement for those first two characters previously on the show. And for those of you who don't know, the Birds of Prey is a comic book series from DC, which several of the DC super heroines or some anti-super, we got anti-heroine? That sounds wrong. I'm not going to say that anymore.
Methadone?
But anyway, it's as we said here, it's Black Canary, who's if you're a fan of the Arrowverse, you know who Black Canary is. She's in the comics, she's Green Arrow's girlfriend, wife, and she's a highly skilled martial artist and has her canary cry, which she just sends a sonic blast out of her mouth. We also have the Huntress, where her thing is like she doesn't have any superpowers, but she doesn't need them. She once again is also a highly skilled hand-to-hand combat fighter, and she's known for having a crossbow, like a small one, and that's her deal. And she's kind of like the crime fighter anti-hero. Like, she doesn't play well, from what I understand the character. And the final member of the Birds of Prey is Oracle, a.k.a. Barbara Gordon, a.k.a. Batgirl, at the point of her life where she was paralyzed by the Joker, and she kind of just became this tech support character for many years in the comics, of a famous part of the character's history. So, as for Ewan McGregor, I like him as an actor, even though, there's been problem with the Star Wars movies, I'm down for him coming back as Obi-Wan because they wanted to do that, but unfortunately, because of Last Jedi and because of Solo, that film is probably not going to happen now, unfortunately. At least a Boba Fett movie isn't going to happen. No one wants to see it. No one wants. Just let Boba. Just leave him in the fucking Sarlacc pit. All right, I'm gonna throw it out there. I don't care what the fucking book said. Fucking fly down the Sarlacc pit. Fuck. Sorry, I'm gonna get so much shit for that. People love Boba Fett so much. They really do, and I don't like. That's because in the books, he's one of those characters where they made him good in the books, but in the movies, he's just cool looking. But they're going to do a whole TV series about his home planet, but he's not going to be in it. Anyway, I'm just getting weird now.
I don't know. I guess people just think that a bounty hunter that looks like a space knight is really cool. He looks like he's going to be jousting people for the right to the throne.
Oh. I gotcha. He jousts, but right before they get, he just launches the rocket off his back and just takes him out. He's like, you never said I couldn't use a rocket. I'm not making any money off of this, so anyway. But yeah, no, hey, Ewan McGregor, he's a good actor. Hopefully, this will be good. I mean, once again, these DC films, things are just so weird right now because they've basically abandoned major sections of the DCU. The fucking Batman movie, every once in a while I hear the director, he's finished the script. And the director's like, okay, well, what? What else? Because Ben Affleck's out. Who's the new Batman? Are you still doing the Batman movie? I keep hearing they are, but then they don't have a new Batman yet. And Superman, he's basically done. We talked about that previously on the show. There's no Superman movie at least for the next 4 years. So as far as I'm concerned, they're fucking done with Superman. Unless they do...
DC, get your shit together. It is tearing Vincent apart.
All I have left is the Arrowverse. And even that's shaky at times. They're doing another crossover event coming up where it's an Elseworld story crossover event. There's some cool stuff in it from so Arrowverse, don't let me down, okay? Don't let me down. Don't do that. All right? I want to see an awesome Superman, okay? I want to see John Wesley Shipp back in his old Flash suit, which we're getting that, and I hope it's going to be great. And yeah, that you even know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay. Do you remember their old Flash television series from like the early 90s?
Okay, yeah.
John Wesley Shipp, who played the Flash in that, plays the new Flash's father in the TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at one point in the season, they do the whole multiverse thing where they travel to like Earth 2, and they find out in that version of Earth, his dad is the Flash of that universe. And now they're doing another thing where they meet another version of Flash, and it's the Flash from the 90s TV show, and he's going to team up with the other heroes of the Arrowverse. So we're so at this point, John Wesley Shipp has played like 3 different characters in the show. He played Barry's dad. He's playing Jay Garrick, the original Flash from the old school comics, and now he's playing the Flash of like the old show. So it's going to be really cool. There's a lot of set photos released. They just revealed that the Monitor is going to be in this crossover thing. Which, if you don't know who the Monitor is, he's like this like super dimensional being that watches over a universe. There's a Monitor for
and then hangs out at schools and makes people use bathroom passes.
Yes, exactly what he does. Exactly what he does. And if you don't have a bathroom pass, he banishes you. He banishes you
from existence.
No, he banishes you to the Schumacher Batman films. You just fucking go there and fucking there's neon lights and fucking fluorescent plane anywhere. I don't know. Anyway, so honestly, I'm kind of excited in the sense that Ewan McGregor is into these movies. Once again, I don't know a lot about Black Mask. I think there's like a rundown of the yeah. Black Mask is known in the comics as Roman Sionis, a ruthless Gotham mob boss who wears a black skull mask as his signature. Sionis grew up in the wealthy elite Gotham family, much like Bruce Wayne. While the Sionis family was not exactly a nurturing group, as Roman's parents were so self-absorbed they allowed him to suffer multiple serious injuries as a kid and forced him to suck up to those higher on the social ladder, like the Wayne family. Okay, so he's basically Bruce Wayne if Bruce Wayne had shitty parents. He's the anti Wayne.
I was gonna say evil Bruce Wayne.
Double ganger Bruce Wayne? I don't know. But anyway, so Ewan McGregor, cool. Black Mask, once again, I really don't have any feelings about the character. DCEU, I don't know. It may be good now because, I don't know, because like I said, they've kind of given up on the universe and they're just doing spin-offs. I mean, this is going to be in the DCEU because Margot Robbie is going to be in the film as Harley Quinn. She's going to be part of the Birds of Prey. So, we'll see. We'll
see. We'll do to be determined.
Yeah. But anyway, let's move on.
I want to give a shout out to the lovely Sheena Carroll. I believe she's watching right now.
And I would like to give a shout out to basically everybody else. Giving a shout out to my friend Jess, Brian, Mike, and Sasha. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Much appreciated. And now we're going to move on to our next news story. It's time to go back to the 90s, ladies and gentlemen. Clueless is coming back. Clueless is coming. I don't know what the fuck to do with this. The 90s.
A film or a TV show?
TV show. Yeah, they're not doing another TV show. There was a TV show. So for those of you who don't remember, back in the 90s, there was this huge film starring actress Alicia Silverstone. It was called Clueless. It's about a rich young teenager who thought she's a popular girl in school. She thinks she's got life all figured out, but by the end of the movie, she realizes she's the one who's clueless. She thinks everyone else is clueless. And that was the moral story. She does a little growing up. She does a little maturity, you know. And it was kind of...
You know who else is in that movie? Motherfucking Ant-Man.
Oh, Paul Rudd, right. He was in that. I forget. The 90s was a long time ago. I miss it. But, you know, it was a long time ago. Nickelodeon. And, Nickelodeon. That was good times. Sorry. What? Fuck, sorry. I got depressed.
Get it together. Get back. to the 20. Get back to the now, Vincent.
Sorry, I got post-traumatic Nickelodeon disorder. Anyway. So according to an article on cinemablend.com, it's been 23 years since the release of the iconic 90s classic Clues. And since then, it's become a cult hit that defines the teen generation of that era. If you've been totally bugging to see more from Cher Horowitz and the gang, you might be in luck. A Clues remake is in the works at Paramount, and two talented women running the show. Girls Trip writer Tracy Oliver is producing, and Glow writer Marquita Robinson is tackling the script. So, obviously, Paul Rudd's mentioned in the fucking article. I didn't know. Okay, there we go. But here's the thing. I'm a little, Now, obviously, we got some, as they say there, we got some good writers.
You're just like, I'm a little. Now, obviously, we've got some good writers. Like you didn't.
Yeah, here's the thing. You can have. There've been good writers and directors. They've all done like movies before, and not everything turns out great.
But you're a little what, Vincent?
That movie is soaked in the 90s. So that's the major challenge. Can you translate that to the modern era? Because as we see on the poster for Clues is, the main character and her two like close friends, and they're all like 90s fashioned up, right? And what are they on? They're all on their old school cell phones. The original flip outs, I'm talking about. And today, I said it like I've been trying to post all the news articles that we're talking about on the show to the POVincent Facebook page. So, you guys can all look this up, our Facebook page and our Twitter. I'm trying to do Twitter a little better. But here's the thing. If you try to recreate that poster, they're not going to be talking on their phones. They're all going to be Snapchatting the shit out of each other. And just here's the thing. Snapchat, I got plenty of friends that do the Snapchat. You make yourself into a fucking bunny, a geisha. That's cool. It's cute. It's cute. Okay? But I just don't know how that's going to translate. That's going to be the challenge, really. Unless they're just going to set the new show in the 90s, a new movie in the 90s again. Like, they're just going to do a total... It's going to be set in the 90s, which I don't know if that would work either, because the show was aimed at a young audience. It was aimed at the high school to college era, college age kids. And I don't know if they're going to understand, because you ever see those like videos on YouTube where it's like kids react to stuff from way before they were fucking born, right? Like kids react to Power Rangers, or kids react to like American Gladiators, or something like that. And they're just like some of them like kind of know, like some like, I think I heard about this. I think my daddy taught me about it or something, I just wonder how they're gonna do it, and that's the thing. I believe social media is going to play a big part in the characters' development, because I feel like that's what is probably going to happen, because that's what a lot of these movies do nowadays when we do teenagers, social media, and social media is a huge part of, the American life for teenagers right now, And I'm kind of guilty of it because, to promote the show, we got a Facebook, we got an Instagram, we got a Twitter.
Dude, Facebook's for old people, right?
No. Facebook.
Oh, the kids don't use Facebook. No, that is like... That's what the old people use, Vincent. We're going to the retirement home on Tuesday.
Yeah. We're going to go in there and it'll be like, oh, the MySpacers. Hey, what's the... I don't know. I'm concerned because it's one of those movies like it is 90s. It is drenched. It is coated in the 90s. And to translate that it might work. The right cast, like with any movie, like so many parts to it. The right casting, the right director, the right, costume design, the right, setting and the, scenery and all that stuff. It could work. I don't know. Eric, I'm going to stop from it. Your thoughts. Hit me with your thoughts.
I think that if they're going to like remake nostalgic 90 movies that were just like, drenched in the 90s, they should take the adventure of a remake of Empire Records. Oh, that's right. That's right, Vincent. A movie about a record store. That is what it's about. And it's just like all these like different clerks that like work at the record store, and Anthony LaPaglia or Joe LaPaglia or whatever, the dude that would get fat and be on Without a Trace.
Shit. All right. Well, So, like I said, yeah, Clueless remake on the way. I don't know. I mean, once again, I mean, I like one of the writers is one of the writers for Glow, the very popular Netflix series about the female wrestling league. And I haven't seen that show, but I've had plenty of people tell me it's good. It was, so there's hope. I guess there's hope just from there. But once again, this is so early stage. I mean, it could be a remake. It could be like, I don't know. It's like all these years later, and now they have kids, and their kids are the main characters, or something like that. Which, I mean, that do a legacy thing. Basically, what they should have done with fucking Ghostbusters. But but there we go. I mean, I really don't know what else to say about this. So we're gonna move on. But before we do, we got a giveaway thing to talk about. We new place.
What?
Yeah, a new place in town called Keeping It Glassy. It's a new smoke shop here in town. Smoke, vape, wellness. That's what they got here, right, ladies and gentlemen.
Tell me more, Vincent.
Yeah, it's located at 4814 McKnight Road here in Pittsburgh, PA. Area code 15237 if you need that. Website, keepitglassy.com. Yeah, and they're doing a giveaway. And if we're going to give you a little promo word here, and you can enter into that giveaway and win all kinds of cool stuff. The promo word is POV. That's the promo word that we're going to use here on the POVincent show, POV. So hit up Keeping It Glassy. If you're a vapor or you just like, good smoke or whatever. They got plenty of things I'm reading back here. They got glass pipes, water pipes. They got e-cigs, oil rigs. They got vaporizers, kratom. Am I saying that? Am I saying that right? Kratom or kratom?
I don't know if I'm being
kratom,
honest. I
God of War. Is that what? Is that? I'm mixing the two up, aren't I? That was a bad joke. I apologize for that joke. That God of War, the video game. Don't give me that look, you motherfucker.
I don't really play video games, man.
I don't either. All right, that's the last time we talk about video games. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Keeping It Glassy. So promo word POV. Go hit them up. But now it's time to get on to our movie review, ladies and gentlemen. A movie that I've honestly been looking forward to. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is our review of Bohemian Rhapsody. So this movie is, of course, about the famous, iconic rock band Queen. More focused, though, of course, on the legendary Freddy Mercury, played by Rami Malek, which most people probably know him from Mr. Robot. And this movie is directed by Bryan Singer. So, Eric, your initial thoughts on Bohemian Rhapsody. Hit me with it, man.
I was impressed.
Yeah, I think I feel the same. I feel the same. Yeah, I think let's get this off the bat. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. My computer froze up. But Rami Malek, like I said, who's playing Freddie Mercury in this movie, I said he did a great job of playing Freddie Mercury. Like, he really well, especially when he's on stage and they're doing it's like it felt like he was like really moving and grooving. And there's a video on the POVincent Facebook page earlier talking about he had got a special coach. There was a behind the scenes video I posted a few days ago on the Facebook page where he got a special coach, not a dance choreographer. I forget the name, but someone who just taught him how to the mannerisms, like how to act move like Freddie, not dance. Because that's what they were doing at first. They got a dance choreographer to where Remy was just kind of dancing, but he's like, it's not working. So they got this other person to show him how to do it, and that worked out well. And yeah, I mean, the movie, it's got a story that we've all seen before, right? The artist that no one sees how special they are. Finally gets a break. They become famous. The fame starts to get to them or whatever, and they do horrible. They make a horrible mistake, or they're mean to the people in their lives or whatever. We've seen that story before, but that's a real life thing. This is based on real people, and one of the reasons why that kind of storyline you see it pop up is because, well, a lot of these famous artists, musicians, or actors, that's what really happens to them in real life. The fictional A Star Is Born, a movie we saw a few weeks back that we both loved, that story on there is I loved it.
We didn't both see that, right?
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah,
after
that's
the
the one
fact.
you ditched me.
I didn't ditch you.
Yeah, no, you were
ditch.
like, fuck that Eric guy. I'm going on. No, we had gone and seen another movie that was we made a mistake. What was that when we went to see Venom? We went to see Venom, and then you were like, I'm gonna go see Star is Born as well. And then you were like, we should have seen A Star is Born.
I'm sorry. Well, what you want to see Venom too?
Aha! Maybe.
Aha, ladies and gentlemen, the truth is revealed.
I certainly didn't argue very hard for Star is Born. Though I did complain a lot, largely about watching Spider-Man 3 the day before.
We did. That was because we did the first episode of the...
Which was actually a bunch of fun. But
yeah. But anyway, yeah, back to Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah, so Rami Malek, great. The movie that it was... This is at the beginning, it was starting to... the one thing that was bugging me is like, they really moved through the events of Freddie Mercury's life, starting with like how Queen got formed. Like they're really like punching forward where Freddie's introduced. He's at like a bar or a venue or something. He sees the band playing. They're not Queen yet, some of the original members, and he's like, he walks up and like, I really like, you guys sounded great tonight. And I wrote some songs, just you might like it. And like, oh, we just lost our lead singer, and he's like, maybe I could be, the lead singer. And the one guy makes fun of him, like, not with your front teeth, man, because like, oh, he's got big front teeth, he can't sing well. Then Freddie blows him the fuck away because the way his teeth are, he's got like extra teeth or something, but it opens up his mouth so he's got greater range, and he's like, holy crap. And Rami Malek really pulls it off, the movie's got some, and it's like happens, Freddie's misunderstood, but he's obviously incredibly talented. He's different. This is one of those stories of different, and they acknowledge that in the movie that's what Queen is about. Part of the being the band is like they're different. They're not they're not your average rock and roll band. They do things differently, and you see that a lot in the movie. There's scenes where they're like in the recording studio and they're getting weird and goofy, but they're having fun. They're experimenting with stuff, like they're putting instruments inside a piano while they're playing to try all these goofy stuff, and and it's just the fun because they see these character building moments of the band coming together as a family, and that is a theme of the movie. Part of the theme of the movie is family, because Freddie has his own family, right? And he's like, him and his dad aren't on the same page. Him and his dad's a very traditional man, it's like, and he sees his son as kind of like this rebellious, I don't know if I want to say fool, but he's like he feels like his son's on the wrong track in life. He's not doing anything. So you got that aspect, but then he meets the other members of the band. They form Queen, and they become a family. And that's and that's a theme. Growing up in the household I did, once again, growing up Italian, right, and and Irish and Scottish, I don't want to ignore that side of my family, but whether my mom's side of the family, dad's side of my family, the importance of family was stressed, and I can get behind that message because it's not only talking about like family of blood, but family of bond, because that's what it is. The members of Queen, they weren't just band members, they were family. And the movie acknowledges that despite the iconic status that Freddie has taken over the other members of the band, that it was a collaboration. Queen didn't work just because Freddie was there. Each member of the band contributed things here and there, whether it was a song, lyrics, ideas to get the audience really going, all that stuff. And I enjoyed that because it could have been so easy for this movie to be like, Freddie did it all, right? Freddie was like the fucking, angel that came down. But like, no, it like acknowledges that Freddie, as talented as he was, he couldn't do it all alone. He could not do it, right? And, as we go through the movie, Queen gets bigger and bigger, and we discover more about Freddie. Like, he loves, he's becoming who he believes he's always meant to be, but the fame starts to happen, and when you get famous, you start meeting people that may not have your best interests in mind.
Tell me more, Vincent.
There's this one character in the movie, which if I remember correctly, it was Paul's the name of the character.
Motherfucking Paul.
Yeah, Paul's this guy that was apparently just some guy who was helping the band out. He worked for like the record label, and he like obviously right off he's like very into Freddie. Like he's definitely attracted to him and all this stuff. And this is, Freddie Mercury famously, came out later as being bisexual or whatnot, but he wasn't always that. We would see in the movie he was getting married at one point to a woman, right? And he didn't really, his sexuality came out sometime later. Like he probably always he always felt like something was off, or he was different. But as he gets out there and people start loving him left and right, because he starts getting a little adventurous, we'll say. But once again, trope of these rising star movies, he starts making mistakes. He starts going behind people's backs and whatnot, and having affairs and whatnot. And it's hard because I believe the movie moved very fast, especially in the beginning of the movie. They did the relationships right. Things moved quickly, but they had each of the moments to show the connections between the characters. Why they were digging each other. I could have slowed down a little bit, but I bought it. I bought these people cared about each other. So you get a little angry at Freddie Mercury during points in the film, because it's he's like, you got it, man. You've got it. Why are you doing this? And you see, in the course of the movie, just like Freddie just trying to come to terms with who he is. Has a lot to do with his destructive behavior that happened later in his life, where he was drinking and partying and drugs and just sex every night with a different person and all that stuff. And Rami Malek really plays it well, because you see the anger and frustration in Freddie, and he's just fooling himself. And going back to this Paul character, he's one of the, I don't know how the guy was in real life. I'm sure if the real life Paul is still alive, he's probably had an interview with somebody saying, I didn't do any of this stuff. But Paul is a negative influence on Freddie. He's the one that starts to not push, but nudge him little by little down a path, because you could tell this Paul character wants Freddie all to himself. He just, he probably is attracted to Freddie, but the love that he has for Freddie, I doubt it's real love. All the classic. Let's go into music.
Paul's a user.
Yeah, he definitely is. He's a user. I would call him a predator to a degree. A leech. I think a leech would also. A user, a leech. He's just one of those, and you see him Freddie go down a dark path where he starts pushing out the people in his life that genuinely care about him, that love him, his family, whether by blood or by bond. Whether by blood or blonde. Fucking blondes. No, I'm kidding. But no, sorry. But yeah, no. And it's genuine character moments, good performances all around. Mike Myers is in the film. When he shows up, I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, who is this guy? Who the hell? He looks. I feel like I know who this guy is. And I was like, oh fuck, it's Mike Myers, right? Because I saw his name in the opening credits and I was like, oh, I didn't know Mike Myers was in this. By the way, I just was I didn't want to put this in news segment because it's there's very little information. Apparently, there's another Austin Powers movie in the early stages, Mike Myers said. I was like, we're getting it underway, and I'm just yeah, sure. I don't know if I'm down for another Austin Powers movie. I love the first one. The second Austin Powers movie is also enjoyable. The third one is where the second one is where you start to see some of the faults start to appear, and the third one's just moly. I don't know. So I don't know if I'm down for another Austin Powers. But anyway, back to Bohemian Rhapsody. So yeah.
What if you had to pick another Austin Powers or another Wayne and Garth? I would. Shit. Wayne's World.
I don't know. Here's the thing. I kind of want to say Wayne's World because the first one was a big hit. The second one problem was it was the first one again basically. If they could come up with a new thing, because we're I just catch up with Wayne and Garth, see where they are in their lives. Do they have kids now? Are they still doing the show, or they moved on to other things where they got big and famous and they're no longer the small time show and they've lost their path? It could be But the title of the show, Bohemian Rhapsody, but there's a question mark at the end. You're Bohemian Rhapsody? Wayne's World, Bohemian Rhapsody? I don't know. Wayne's World 3. Not so party, not so excellent. I don't know.
Wayne's World Through Time.
Oh god, if they did that. Oh shit. But anyway, yeah. I've been going on a lot, Eric. So please, I feel like I've stolen some from you. What? Tell me. Talk. What movie?
That was pretty interesting that we're watching biopics 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And they were very different biopics. This was about the music. It expressed the lightning in the bottleness that was Queen,
Yes.
but also, like you said, like it was. They did a good job of reminding you, like, oh yeah, like they're like good musicians, like, and the like some of those guitar riffs that you just kind of take for granted because Queen is one of those bands that gets played a good bit in a wide range of areas because they went mainstream largely through sport. I mean, like, we will rock you is a big sports chant. So, like, I mean, it's a strange world, Vince Didiano. But no, I thought the costuming was amazing. I thought there were some topic. It was weird. It was weird watching them address being gay in the 80s.
Yeah, because that was because I mean, and famously, Freddie Mercury contracted AIDS and died of it, in the early '90s, and that was during that time in the '80s where there definitely wasn't a lot of acceptance, and people were we see in the movie like people like starting to catch on like in the media that Freddie might be gay or he was he says bisexual in the movie, so I'm gonna.
Can I?
Yeah.
There hits this point where like he's been touring and everything, and he is married to this woman, Mary. And at one point he comes back and she's like, "What's the matter?" And he's like, and he's like, I think I'm bisexual," and she's just like, "Freddie, you're gay." Like.
Yeah,
like, son, you are and that was just one of those like humorous honesty, just like as the woman who's married to you, I'm gonna say, I don't think you're bisexual. I don't. That is not how I would categorize it. But and then of course their friendship continues. The actress that played her did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this. I would especially if you were a Queen fan. But in general, it builds the last decent chunk of the movie is literally just a reenactment of Live Aid.
Yeah. Well, sorry, a little bit of a spoiler there, but honestly, it is awesome. Like. I liked and one of the things I liked about it is like when you're at a concert, right? The crowd's roaring, the music's playing because of the sound of the crowd. Sometimes some of the lyrics when they're singing they're not some are not as what's the word I'm looking for here as audible as crisp or audible as others. Like and stuff that's happened in the movie where we're like listening to them like jam during that Live Aid concert, and there was parts of it where I couldn't hear Freddie Mercury as well because the fucking crowd's like chanting, and it made it feel more like a real concert because they could. I mean, just standardly, you do in the movie like they do it, and you're like, oh, we can hear every fucking word of the song because that's how they do it in a movie. But no, they added that like the realness factor to make you feel like you're there at Live Aid, and that scene, that whole fucking thing. It's fun, it's emotional, it's inspiring, because like this was a real event where Live Aid was this global, international concert that was going on in multiple cities around the world. There was 150 million people who tuned in, and it was to raise money for people in certain African countries that just had it rough. They didn't have any food or clothing or clean water to drink, and like they're trying to raise money, and money they're trying to raise, and like people aren't calling in, people aren't donating, and then fucking Queen gets on stage, right? And think about Live Aid, every major band in the world was a part of this goddamn thing. If you were anybody, you were at Live Aid. And some of the bands had already gone up. Some of the bands had already done their thing. And then Queen gets up, and it's this famous moment in music history, which even I'm not, me being more of a movie guy, I've heard about this, about Queen.
This is one of those, like, famous performances.
Yeah.
Like, this is like a Super Bowl of music type of event.
Yeah, this is like, Queen had been famous for many years before this event, but this is this moment in their career, once again, moment in music history, solidified Queen as the iconic, influential band that they were. I've heard stories about the other bands, like like Led Zeppelin fucking was there, and like Mick Jagger was, there in Rolling Stone, and they're like people like the other bands were like, holy shit, they are fucking rocking this joint. And we have a lot of close-up shots of in the crowd of people just like singing along or waving their arms, and some people were like crying, some people were hugging, because Queen's music just felt like it united everybody in the stadium, at their homes watching TV, around the world, and it was just this great fucking moment. And I mean, it's weird. I didn't expect them to do it like that. I expected the movie to end like, like the band, like Freddy's like, he's, making amends with people. And then right before the band, like, Freddy's like, you're my family, I love you. And then they get up on stage and then like fade to black and the credits start like hitting. I thought they were going to do it like that, but no, they fucking do it. And it was fun as hell. And like, I'm getting emotional and like, it's really cool. And I commend Bryan Singer, who directed it, for doing it like that, unless it was already written that way. Whoever's idea it was. Good idea. But anyway, oh shit. Are we good on time, Eric? I fucking lost my track of time.
I think we're good.
Okay. So, yeah, shit, I'm trying to think what else to talk about it. Yeah, I don't know. I just really enjoyed this film. Once again, the music, the acting, the honesty, the honesty of I felt like was going on. It was just a fun ride. I mean, Eric, what else you got to say, man? I'm kind of struggling what else to say at this point.
I mean, Vince, there's no need to be under pressure.
Under pressure.
You're just a poor boy from a poor family. No, I would recommend this. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I would also recommend this film. I mean, and that's the cool thing about Queen. Like, even though, even for people who are younger, as we did, Queen songs are everywhere. They're still played on the radio. They're used in soundtracks for movies and all kinds of stuff. So I think that just the music will attract people in. But anyway, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we recommend Bohemian Rhapsody. Go see it whenever you have time. A few shout-outs. Once again, thank you to everybody who's tuned into the episode tonight. Melissa, Ray, Brian, once again. Carrie, thanks for tuning in. John, Liz, Sheena, and Jess. Thank you guys all for tuning in on the live stream tonight. Really appreciate it. And please, if you enjoy the show, share it around. If you think your friends would like it, let them know about our show. We really appreciate it. And if you would like to contribute to the show and help us out, please go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/POVincent, and donate to us there. Any little bit of cash would be highly appreciated. Seriously, if you donated $1, I'd be fucking humble as shit. But anyway, we'll be back next week with a new movie review, new news, and who knows what else. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in and viewing things from our point of view. Have a good night.